Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Hey, we have a great guest on the show today, and we're so glad to have him. Why don't you introduce him, Lamar? Because he's a friend of yours, I understand.
A friend of mine, a longtime YouTuber, one of my best friends. He is so knowledgeable about YouTube, viral hit, but sustaining person on YouTube. Like to represent Mr. Tay Zonday.
Oh, my God. I'm so happy to meet you, Tay.
Thank you so much for having me.
Huge fan. Many people remember his charting hit, Chocolate Rain.
It was kind of a first in that it was a semi-professional experience that you saw just explode. I mean, I remember hanging out with my friends and was just like, "Have you seen this video of this guy singing? Like, it's amazing."
Well, I mean, and there was other stuff exploding on YouTube at that time. Soulja Boy kind of had his Crank That song. A month later, Chris Crocker had the Leave Britney Alone. Chocolate Rain was kind of the clean, marketable thing.
Right, Britney Alone. Really? Chocolate Rain and Leave Britney Alone are at the same...
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember...
About the same time.
I remember watching a Fox News broadcast that Tay was actually on with...
Oh, you remember that? Is that the one where they
with
played
Dan Brown, and they played Leave Britney Alone with there's an F-bomb in it, and they didn't censor it, and they went, "Ooh, oh, sorry about that," and yeah. Definitely part of the time.
No F-bombs in Chocolate Rain. Actually, Chocolate Rain was a political song. It was an activist song. I don't know how many people really knew that.
No, I mean, a lot of people will just say, hey, you know, it's a catchy beat. My 2-year-old can't stop singing it at bedtime.
I couldn't stop singing it, Tay. People were getting mad at me.
Oh.
Because I'd come in, I'd go, chocolate rain, some stay dry while others feel the pain. That's all anybody knows, by the way. That's why they don't know what it's about.
I'll be spotted just like at the mall now, and people be like, chocolate rain. They don't even remember the lyrics.
Right.
Right. It's just kind of iconic.
Oh, go ahead. No, go talk about the phone. I'll come back. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you were going to go.
Oh, are we going to do this?
Don't be polite. Would you guys stop it? Just knock it off. All right, I'm going to ask a question. Tay, what's the genesis? Was that your first? It wasn't your first YouTube video, or was it?
It was not my first YouTube video. I had been singing and playing at open mics in Minneapolis, where I lived at the time. YouTube was much more convenient. I actually liked that you got honest feedback posting music on YouTube, which you usually don't get at open mics and small cafes. And I uploaded Chocolate Rain in April of 2007. Didn't go viral right away. And then that summer, someone posted it on dig.com. That dates it. Someone saw it on Dig, posted it on 4chan, and it kind of blew up from there. And, it was really kind of the first incident where someone did something on the internet and then got mainstream media attention. Since then, there's been Antoine Dodson, there's been Rebecca Black, all these other examples. But when it happened to me, there were really no breadcrumbs to follow. I couldn't be like, oh, what did so-and-so do when this happened to them? So it was kind of this new experience to have a video on the internet, and then, whoa, I'm on Jimmy Kimmel. I'm opening for Girl Talk at one of their shows, and it was just a very exciting time.
I would like to think that there's an alternate universe out there where the open
Chocolate
mic
Rain
nights
is playing all the time.
Right, no, where the open mic nights became the viral hit, and then you just have these coffee shops that are just filled with people trying to see Tay Zonday sing.
Yeah.
So there were really no rules when all of this happened. How did you kind of deal? Like, what was the progression of trying to figure out how to manage this sort of celebrity that was forced upon you?
It was weird because really I was very much a nerd making music as a hobby in my living room. And all of a sudden, there's this inundation of people wanting me to sing at their kids' bar mitzvah, sing at their corporate parties, sing at their weddings, perform live, open for the products, meet with all different types of literary agents, and anyone connected with entertainment. There's just this huge gold rush when someone is perceived to be going viral. And I didn't feel ready to be more than a nerd making music in my living room as a hobby, no matter how much there might have been an opportunity to become Akon or perhaps a more seasoned performer. That's not where I was in my art. And I still knew that I needed time to grow and develop and figure out who I wanted to be as an artist. So that was the tension, is everyone's telling me, hey, strike while the iron is hot. 3 of the 4 major labels at the time wanted to sign me. And it was kind of this thing where I had to say, hey, I'm going to stick with this YouTube thing and maybe take opportunities as they come, but I still need to grow and develop as an artist.
Wow, that's brave. That's really brave. You turned down record labels?
Yeah, there was definitely interest in signing me, and kind of this idea of striking while the iron is hot,
right?
Of getting something out there while my name is out there and whatnot. And I really had to. I was also in graduate school at the time too.
What were you studying?
And I was in the third year of the doctorate program in American Studies at the University of Minnesota. That's kind of as broad as it sounds, but it's pretty much history. I was studying the history of theater and social change.
Wow.
So this was happening in the middle of my still being committed to being in grad school now, and I didn't just want to drop out. So I basically decided to keep putting videos on YouTube and take opportunities as they came, but not give up my life as an academic right away. Eventually, I finished with a master's degree and moved to LA and pursued entertainment full time, but I wasn't really ready to do that right in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that your decision to kind of not deal with the labels was a sound one, because do you feel like they would have just put you on a shelf or kept you in a contract?
Definitely. I mean, you can look at so many YouTube artists. Tara Naomi is a fabulous example, amazingly talented singer who I think she blew up with her song Say It's Possible on YouTube in 2006, one of the first artists to blow up, and she was signed by a major label, I believe, in 2006. And it just wasn't a positive experience for her to move in that direction. And so I think I made the right choice for me, because I also feel like as I've continued to upload videos to YouTube, and as luckily there's still been an audience there for them on YouTube, I've grown and changed tremendously as an artist. So YouTube has been a great place to do that.
Yeah, I got to say, one of the things I've always admired about you is that you have a longevity. There are some people who are viral hits that are one-offs and you don't hear from them anymore. And you stayed around, and I know people only know you as Chocolate Rain, but you've done so much more since 2007. Like, can you give us some examples of that?
Oh, I mean, people stop me for other stuff sometimes. They like you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. I get that one. No, and even the songs that I put up that I don't think anyone watches them, everyone hates them. I'll set it to private, and there's always a couple people coming out of the woodwork who are like, "Gosh, Chasing Eden, that's my favorite song. What did you do with that?" So, there's the audience is complicated in that way. And I feel very lucky to have Chocolate Rain as kind of the calling card that the most people are familiar with. But people are fans of all sorts of things that I do.
How much money did you make on Chocolate Rain?
That's a good question.
Good answer.
I don't know if I'm going to answer that.
Well, yeah, you don't have to. It's none of my business. You have 91 million views. Did they monetize? Did you put advertising on it right away? Did they even do that in those days?
The YouTube Partner Program started, I believe, around when I entered it. It was November of 2007.
So,
and at that time, it was very exclusive. Over the years, it became less and less exclusive, and eventually, YouTube got out of the business of managing partners entirely. So now I think anyone can actually put ads on their YouTube video, and then talent management has now been outsourced to networks.
So, okay, let's see if I can narrow it down. You still make money from it?
I do. I would
enough to live on?
I would say that between YouTube and opportunities that have emerged from YouTube, I am able to live fairly comfortably. And hey, I mean, as long as you're able to wake up every day and do what you love, I call that success.
Well, and that's the reason I ask. I'm not interested in your particular financial situation, but I am interested in, for others who are watching, if this is a worthwhile pursuit, if it's a hobby or if it's a career, if there's money in it, or if it's just something you do for fun.
I would say it's a hobby that can become a career. And that's the great thing about YouTube, is you never really know. Sometimes you find an audience accidentally, and then that becomes a new direction for your life and can be a changing experience. So I think it's like many other things in life. If it grows to that scale, then sure, you can make a living off of it.
Right.
Are you looking to do any other type of voice work? Obviously, I know people tell you, "Oh, you should do movie trailers. You should do this." But what are you looking to do?
I'd love to do. I'm pursuing voice work. I'm pursuing acting, film work. What's interesting is that as I've been in LA almost 5 years now, what it means to pursue on-camera work and voice work and what have you is changing very quickly because of YouTube, because of all the venture capital and YouTube networks and kind of this digital media remaking Hollywood. What it means to pursue a career in film or television is still changing.
Well, a lot of the people that watch the show are probably kind of aspiring creators, and I wanted to ask, there seems to almost be two ways to tackle YouTube as a career to try to make money, and that is one, to upload consistently and sort of grow your audience over time, or sort of what you did where you broke in, it was a super viral hit, and I see a lot of people trying to only get that viral sensation. So, you know, I don't even know what the question is. I guess I'm just...
No, I think I understand the question. I mean,
right.
I think your question is there's this sense, and really this is the sense of social media now, of anything that, you know, you don't exist unless you are on Google, unless you have your SEO, unless someone puts in your name and finds you on LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook and Google Plus and YouTube and all these other places. And so I guess the question would be, the volume of content is also this sense that you have to have a transparent life and always be tweeting, always be putting stuff on Instagram, always be interacting with your fans and kind of find a way to build an audience through volume. Or, you know, there's kind of that alternative, which, you know, maybe Zay Frank is an example. I mean, of course, he's legendary, but, you know, I'm not sure that he's like doing daily vlogs. He's doing specific weekly videos and they often become viral. And so do you kind of try and create a series of one-hit wonders, or do you really try and just pound away at it every day and do the daily vlog? I don't know. I would say the former, I guess, has worked for me, trying to do the quality over quantity.
Right.
And if what you are doing is high quality and distinct enough, then it has a potential to be viral and take off on its own. So that's the strategy that works for me. And I guess you have to kind of figure out what works for you.
Yeah, I think it's a personal choice based off kind of who you are. Are you someone who yeah, I mean, there's almost like the cult of personality versus the creative, you know, side of things. Yeah, and good point.
So Tay, how do you deal with the incredible, I mean, my God, you've been around since 07. How do you deal with the constant YouTube changes? I mean, now the views you may have gotten a few years ago are now kind of taken by all the eyeballs, and the same thing happens to all of us.
Because Google is de-emphasizing search. You know,
that's weird, right?
Well, yeah, it is. I mean, Google is really trying to simplify discovery on YouTube, so it becomes more like television and trying to automate that process. And in that process, a lot of legacy talents are kind of becoming downranked and not as easy to discover and not as easy to syndicate your content to your audience. You know, I still think that there are certainly ways for videos to go viral, you know, with Reddit and just getting it out there in the press. But it is harder to build an audience on YouTube now because you'll see great stuff that just it's not able to get outside of that circle of your mom and your friends and whoever you're able to email it to and grow in the way that perhaps it was in 2008, 2009, 2010. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what the answer to that is. I'd like to hear more of an answer about audience growth and really building an audience from the platform itself, from YouTube, and what their viewpoint is on that, because there are a lot of people struggling.